Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into the latest Raiders GM news. I'm also going to show the Raiders GM tracker. When I was doing a show on Monday, for those of you that are watching this live, this is being recorded live on Monday. For those that missed our live show, it's all good. I put out a video in regards to two GMs that the Raiders have requested to interview. Well, now we have a little bit more information, and at the time that I'm making this video, you're going to see all the GMs that potentially could be the Raiders' next man. And then we're going to end today's show with a little Bill Belichick to the Raiders rumors because they have been out there, from Diana Rossini, from Ian Rappaport, and I kind of lied. We're then going to finish this up with the 15 players that the Raiders sign to a future contract. If you don't have Twitter, it's all good. Tom Pelissero on Monday said that the Raiders requested the interview with Bill's Director of Player Personnel, Terrance Gray, for their GM job. So if you were following along with a lot of the stuff that I was putting out on social media, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's all good. I'm at MitchellRens365. This was the third name that was leaked to the Raiders in terms of who is going to be the next person. So in terms of Terrance Gray for the next general manager job, it's definitely a name that I think some people got to be able to get out there and consider. He's got 22 years of NFL experience, joined the Bills in 2017, and has worked his way up that entire team. 11 seasons with the Vikings as a college scout with Minnesota, and I think from top to bottom, when you think about what Terrance Gray is going to be able to bring to the next level, the Raiders need, and I mean this, they need to be able to figure it out from a draft perspective. And the next GM that I want to be able to go out and find, you need to be able to have the player personnel people and the right decision makers. I'll also say I actually don't even think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Raiders hire a GM, but then they also hire, because I reported this about, it's probably 3 weeks ago at this point, that I've been told that the Raiders could also hire like a brand new position next to that GM in case they want to hire multiple people to try to build this like mega front office, if you will. So to me, when I heard Terrance Gray, I had to reach out to one of my buddies. So one of my buddies from high school, I asked him about Terrance, and his response to me, he is one of their college scouts, one of their scouts for the Bills. He said, "You're going to love Terrance. He's a great guy." And to me, I want to be able to continue to build that camaraderie. I still want to be able to build that close family atmosphere that Antonio Pierce, that this Raiders team currently has. So if they decide to go in a different direction, I still want to be able to have that close family type of feel, because that's what the Raiders are all about. Let's go to some more news here around the GM. It's from Tom Pelissero. The Raiders have requested an interview with Bengals senior personnel executive Trey Brown for their GM job. Brown is regarded around the league as a sharp, diverse, and well-rounded candidate, and he has been to Super Bowls with multiple teams. So Trey Brown will interview for the Raiders GM job again. I put this on the show. You can go back and look December 18th. In fact, I have not changed any notes that you see on screen. This is from a show that I did on December 18th, and I said Trey Brown will get another opportunity to be the Raiders GM, or the Raiders might be willing to create a brand new position which helps out Trey Brown's strength. He interviewed for this position back in 2019 and 2022 for the Silver and Black, and if he were hired, he'd be the third youngest active GM in the NFL at 38 years old, and I'm a big believer that if I'm trying to create a team, I do want to kind of go with this younger route where you can understand technology, you can understand where to find information, you can understand how to watch film in a different light. To me, the more and more the NFL gets advanced, you need to be able to have people that can change with the times. And Trey Brown, on top of everything, has worked with the Patriots and Eagles, two good franchises or organizations, whether you like to admit that or not. Former cornerback out of UCLA, undrafted, so maybe he's somebody you could pair with Antonio Pierce. Maybe he's another guy if you want to keep Champ Kelly. Trey Brown and Kelly, I do think would be a pretty good stint. Third season with the Bengals and his second season as senior personnel executive. If you're looking for somebody that can diagnose talent, okay, I think it is very, very important for the Raiders to be able to bring in a guy like Trey Brown. Now, if you're looking for news, rumors, we got you covered, but this is the video that I put out around Trey Brown. Spoiler alert, he was the guy with the question mark. That if you guys want to go check it out, please don't be shy. Go do so. Get wall-to-wall coverage of everything going on around the Raiders, 366 days. And actually, as I am recording this video, again, we are live here. We just got some news. The Carolina Panthers have requested to interview Champ Kelly for their general manager job. So it was reported, and I talked about that I actually think that Kelly, if he leaves, could end up getting a job elsewhere. And if Champ Kelly is actually hired to be a GM anywhere, the Raiders get not one, but 2 third-round comp picks. So definitely something to keep in mind for the Las Vegas Raiders. But that's exactly why you hit that subscribe button, is it not? Because whether we're live, whatever we do here on this show, I promise you, we will do everything in our power to make sure that you guys know everything going on around the Las Vegas Raiders. So with that being said, if Champ Kelly, again, like I mentioned, if he gets the GM job elsewhere, 2 third-round comp picks. But as it stands right now, the Raiders have requested to interview 4 general managers. So anytime in the offseason, one of the things I always like to provide, because I know people look for it, is a GM tracker. So as it stands right now, Champ Kelly has an opportunity to be the Raiders GM. Trey Brown has an opportunity. He right now is with the Cincinnati Bengals. Terrance Gray right now is with the Buffalo Bills. Ed Dodds right now is with the Indianapolis Colts. Adam Peters right now is with the San Francisco 49ers. So if you're looking for an up-to-date Raiders GM tracker, this is your list right here. What I want to know, though, from the nation is who's going to be the Raiders GM next season? Is it going to be Champ Kelly? I actually think that there is an opportunity where it's not Kelly, and because Kelly can go somewhere else, but then the Raiders can also get those 2 comp picks, which I do think pays dividends for them for trying to rebrand and trying to rebuild for the future. But I got to know from everybody watching who's going to be the Raiders GM next season. Personally, for me, you can go in a multitude of ways. I'm happy that Mark seems like he's finally getting a little bit smarter here, and it sounds like that they're going to hire a GM before they end up hiring a head coach. But I do think that you have to have the right pairing. If you want Jim Harbaugh, it's going to be Ed Dodds at GM, Jim Harbaugh at head coach. If you're looking to go a little bit of a different route, I think Trey Brown is a sneaky candidate to be able to add in there. I also think Adam Peters from the 49ers, from people who I've talked to, I know the Raiders really like Clint Kubiak as a potential OC. If you were to bring in Clint Kubiak, you pair him with Adam Peters, then you also could keep Antonio Pierce to be your head coach. Coming up next here on the show, Bill Belichick to the Raiders. Mitch, what the hell is this nonsense? Hey, I'm just telling you what has been reported by Diana Rossini and what has been reported by Ian Rappaport. I'll tell you what are the likelihood of Belichick coming to the Raiders after I talk to you about our awesome sponsor here at Game Time. And I'm super excited for Game Time because buying tickets to your favorite events, it shouldn't be stressful, right? Like, when I go to an event, man, I want to know that I'm going to have a good time. I don't want to have to deal with the stress, but I also know that planning out things in advance for me is not always a very easy thing. So what I want you guys to do is snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. Create an account and redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. It is the perfect app for buying tickets when planning a visit to Las Vegas. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets. And right now, I don't know about y'all, Golden Knight tickets. I would be down to go watch a Golden Knights game. I've watched a few games here in Dallas, the Stars game. Not a bad seat in the house. If we go to the Super Bowl week, let's go to a Knights game. You guys down? I'm down. I even have an awesome Raiders jersey that looks like a Knights jersey. Raider meetup near the Knights Stadium. That sounds like a hell of a time. Anyway, man, promo code RaidersChat for $20 off. Go get started. They're awesome. Great lasting memories. That's also why I love me a little bit of Game Time. All right, let's talk about Mr. Bill Belichick. Oh, man, some of you are like, no more Patriots, and I hear you. But according to Diana Rossini, the Raiders are hoping to get a chance to speak with Belichick himself. However, though, according to Ian Rappaport, the Raiders aren't likely to hire Bill. Is Bill done in New England? I don't have the answer to that. I know that Josh McDaniels, which I literally laughed out loud, was at the Patriots game on Sunday, and there's a part of me that wonders if the New England Patriots are going to hire Josh McDaniels, and if they do, I promise you, I will go live on the Raiders Report laughing in the Patriots' faces for hiring the fraud that is McDaniels. But here's the thing. I promise you this. Bill Belichick is not going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. To me, the reason why this move is happening is, again, because of some of the reports that we've talked about here in the last week or two. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's going to be people out there that take the reports from Diana Rossini and they're going to be like, oh, the Raiders could potentially hire Bill Belichick. It's not going to happen. I will promise you it's not going to happen. However, though, from people who I talk to, it does sound like they do want to talk to Bill. But it's not to be a head coach. It's just to wrap his mind around building a great dynasty. And with Mark Davis listening to Tom Brady, I don't really fault Brady for wanting to talk to Belichick, a guy that he won 6 Super Bowls with. You know what I mean? So don't take the Raiders want to talk to Belichick as a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing. At the end of the day, the more and more people that you can get into a room that have had a lot of success just to bounce ideas off them, that's what smart organizations do. Don't take the report as the Raiders are going to hire Belichick. Take it as Tom Brady's trying to sit down with Bill, who's trying to sit down with Mark Davis and create a plan of how to create a great dynasty in Las Vegas. So here's my question. Is Bill Belichick the best head coach of all time? Because I think a lot of times people just say, yes, he is. I'll tell you this, though, man. I don't know if he is. And I'm not afraid to say it. I don't know if Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time. Like, to me, I think John Madden might be better. And the only reason why I say that is because I believe that if you give me Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, I'm going to have success. I definitely think he's top 3. And I think a lot of people right now say that he's top 3. But with Tom Brady, 219 and 64 in the regular season, 249 and 75, including the postseason. Without Brady, he's been bad. 83 and 101, 84 and 103, including the postseason. So, Bill has done a lot of great things. And I'm not saying Bill's not a great coach. He's a great coach. Great coach. But is he the greatest of all time? I'm not afraid to sit up here and say that. No, I do not think that Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time. He's been amazing with Brady. Been bad without him. You guys can weigh it however you'd like. All right, y'all, the way that I'd like to be able to end today's show is around the 15 players that the Las Vegas Raiders sign to a future contract. So you got David Agoha, Cornell Armstrong, Anthony Brown Jr. at corner, DJ Fluker at offensive tackle, Cole Fotherington at tight end, Jaydon Grant at safety, Marquan McCall at defensive tackle, Sincere McCormick at running back, Graf, bang. Jalen McKenzie at tackle, John Samuel Shenker at tight end, Niesta Jade Silvera defensive tackle, Elerson Smith at DE, Charles Snowden at DE, Sam Webb at corner, Kristian Wilkerson at wide receiver. Essentially, it's your practice squad, right? You sign players to future deals. It doesn't mean that they're a lock to make the 53. It just essentially means that they're going to be on your team to start next season. So that's all the news that we got for y'all here on the Raiders Report today. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. And if you haven't already, give me a follow on social media. I'm at MitchellRenz365. Oh, wait. And depending on when you watch this video, Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be live on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, with even more around the Silver and Black.